This is a peanut. Or at least that's what it looks like from 3 feet away. Crack it open, and there's a working camera hiding inside. Battery, lens, circuit board, all crammed into a shell smaller than your thumb. No one has ever suspected a peanut of spying on them. That's exactly the point. I'm going to show you how this actually works, what's really inside it, and where the legal line is that most people never think to ask about. 10 years ago, a camera this small basically didn't exist outside of military or intelligence budgets. Today, the same core components, a pinhole lens, a tiny image sensor, a coin cell battery, cost less than a fast food meal. Miniaturization did to spy gear what it did to phones. It took something exotic and made it something you can order online in a week. So what's actually packed into that shell? First, a lens no bigger than a pinhead sitting behind a hole you'd never notice. Behind it, a tiny image sensor, the same basic technology in your phone's camera, just shrunk down to a few millimeters. Next to that, a small circuit board handling recording, and either a micro SD card or a wireless chip sending the footage somewhere else entirely. And powering all of it, a coin cell or a small lithium battery, good for anywhere from 20 minutes to a couple of hours, depending on the build. All of that in a shell the size of a peanut. The hardest part isn't the electronics, it's making all of it disappear inside something ordinary. This is where it gets clever and a little unsettling. The peanut shell isn't just a container, it's the actual disguise. The lens has to line up with a natural gap or crack in the shell. So from the outside, it just looks like a peanut. Builders use real, hollowed-out shells rather than 3D printed replicas, because real texture holds up to close inspection in a way plastic doesn't. It's the same principle used in far more expensive covert cameras. Hide the lens inside the texture of something nobody looks at twice. This isn't a one-off novelty. Ultra-miniature cameras like this trace back to real surveillance and law enforcement equipment. Investigators have used disguised cameras in buttons, pens, smoke detectors for decades for legitimate evidence gathering in legal investigations. What's changed is availability. What used to require a badge and a warrant now just requires a shopping cart. And that's exactly where this stops being a fun build video and starts being a legal question. In most countries, recording people in places where they expect privacy, bathrooms, changing rooms, bedrooms, is a crime. Full stop. Even in public or semi-public spaces, hidden recording without consent runs into wiretapping, surveillance, and privacy laws in a lot of jurisdictions. The technology doesn't care how it's used. The law absolutely does. And it's the person holding the peanut who's liable, not the peanut. None of this means the technology itself is the villain. The same hardware shows up in legitimate uses too. Wildlife researchers use micro cameras disguised as rocks or branches to film animals without disturbing them. So the real story here isn't the peanut. It's how fast impossible to hide technology became small enough to fit in your pocket. The shell is just packaging. What you do with what's inside it is the only part that was ever actually up to you. Subscribe. I dig into stories exactly like this one.